What's going on, everybody? Anonymous 2K coming at you with another video on Marvel Contest of Champions, and this time we're going to continue the series of how to go through Act 5.4. We have on this video 5.4.2. We're going to break it down as much as we can and explain which lanes to take, how, and so it'll be easier for you to go through it. First and foremost, I do want to say that we have this image right here that brought to us by Clan HQ, by the good guys from the Clan HQ. We're going to go through it and we're going to explain the nodes and everything. I'm going to break it down into 3 sections. The first section is going to be this one. The first one, the green portals. You start right over there. You go from one of the 5 sections, 5 lanes, and you go to this section right here. The second section is going to be located right there. This in the middle is going to be the second section. And of course, the last path, the last section, the third one is going to be right here, just before Morningstar. That is the boss of Act 5.2, 5.4.2. So we're going to go ahead and see that the resilience line and the bleed and poison, both of them are going to go through this path right here. They're going to go through Hood, Captain America World War II. We have Gwenpool. We have Black Panther, OG. We have the Duck, Howard the Duck, Wolverine. And of course we have Ultron at the end, and it's gonna split into 2 lanes right here, the resilience and the bleed one. You really don't have to take the resilience, go through that, and continue with the resilience. You can go through the resilience. You can choose any lane that you want in the second section. Of course, correspondingly, you're gonna teleport into the same lane in the third section, but of course what I would suggest is go to stick with the resilience and end with the resilience as well. As far as the masochism, you do have Stark Spidey and you have Dr. Octopus. When you go through the resilience, it's the only lane that has to stay and go through the resilience line, and the second and the third path as well. You have a Yellow Jacket, you have Captain America Civil Warrior, Captain America Civil Warrior, if I'm not mistaken, is the full name. You have Elektra and you have Winter Soldier. From there, you go through the masochism, and the last 2 paths is the Rage and the Power. You go through. You have Hyperion and the last lane basically, and you go through that as well. So from here and out, we're gonna go, minimize it, and we're gonna go through. Let me just. There we go. Let's talk about the nodes. The resilience node, the resilience lane, you have the resistor node. When struck with an energy or a physical attack, activate the corresponding resistance buff, increasing respective resistance by 20%. Where an energy resistant buff is activated, remove all physical resistance buff, and vice versa. Basically, every single time that you hit the champion with a physical damage, he will receive 20% physical resistance. Let's say you take him up to 10 resistance stacks, because that's the maximum, and you hit him with a energy one, you will remove 1 physical resistance, and vice versa. Of course, that will that is the node that everyone has on that lane, including Iron Man, Iron Patriot, and Luke Cage. On top of that, as you guys can see, they have individual nodes. I didn't see any problem going with that in the first section. On the second section, when you go through them, you go through Hood. There we go. If you go through Hood, you have 2 nodes on the Hood. Breakthrough, and Stupefy. Then you have Captain America, Bloodlust, and Enhanced Abilities. Gwenpool, Enhanced Bleed and Bloodlusting. Enhanced Bleed and Critical on Black Panther. You have Howard the Duck with Energy Resistance and Enhanced Fury. Wolverine with Enhanced Bleed and Outlast. And of course, you have last but definitely not least, Ultron with Enhanced Bleed and Limber. Go through this lane, I don't remember having any problems with anyone other than Howard the Duck. You will have to remember that in 60 and 30% health, he will receive either health or you will receive damage over time. So you need to parry him. What I would suggest is right before he's gonna go through 30 and 60% health, bait his specials so he will not have any specials available. And when he goes through that threshold, he will come at you and you will parry. Other than that, even all those champions, I don't really see any problems in that section. On the last lane, on the resilience, we have Rhino and Doctor Strange. Rhino has a heal block, so if you're running Suicide, don't forget to bring a heal immune champions, double immune champions. As far as Doctor Strange, he has physical and energy resistance at 80%. I would suggest bringing on Magic or some power control champion, because when Doctor Strange gets to that second special, he is a force to be reckoned with. Going back into the bleed and poison nodes, you have Biohazard on the second lane. It's the bleed and poison lane. When struck, 20% chance of inflicting bleed, dealing 100% of the attack as direct damage over 7.5 seconds. When blocking as attack, 50% chance to inflict poison, dealing 100% of the attacker's direct damage as a direct damage over 7.5 seconds. Basically, when you hit and when you get hit, and when you hit him when he's blocking, you will receive poison or bleed damage. That's on everybody, on Abomination and then Joe Fixit. So on top of the flare and the stack deck that they have, what I would suggest is to bring double immune champion. In my opinion, Ultron works super great because he has 2 heals as well. From here and on, the same thing goes on the second section. You have those same champions, same nodes, nothing different in this. On poison and bleed lane on the third section, you have on both champions enhanced bleed. That means that they're gonna bleed. The bleed effects are 40% more effective. You have 90% armor on Magneto, and you have poison node on X-23. So do bring poison immune champion, and well, the same double immune champions that you had on the first section should work fine on the third section as well. And yeah, nothing special other than that. Let's move over to before we're gonna move over to the third section. Poison and bleed, in my opinion, was the easiest lane for me. So if you're going to go through the initial run, just go through that. Don't forget to bring the poison immunes, poison and the bleed immunes, the double immunes. Other than that, in my opinion, that's the easiest lane in the chapter 4.2 in Act 5. So moving on to the third lane in this act. In this chapter, we have the masochism. Every 7 seconds, the next debuff trigger on the champion is immediately removed. Each time this effect triggers, they regenerate 5% of their maxed health. You have Spider-Man, Stark Enhanced, and Doctor Strange on the first section. I really hate fighting Stark Enhanced. I hate fighting any of the Spider-Mans just because of their evades. Other than that, You can bring maybe a heel block champion, but I don't see any big issues. It's just the regular masochism nodes. On the second section, you have the masochism as well. No special lanes. They're super easy champions to go through. I don't see any problem either with the Yellow Jacket, Civil War, or Elektra, or Winter Soldier. Again, if you're fighting Elektra with Suicides, remember she has 80% chance to decrease your accuracy. So bring a double immune champion for that if you like. Going on through the third section, masochism as well. Hulkbuster and Iron Fist, didn't really see any big problems. It's just Hulkbuster, a lot of hits. You will just need to hit him a lot of times. Don't forget to bait the SB1. Other than that, not a big problem. As far as the fourth and the fifth lane, you have Rage. Fury abilities are 40% more effective. On the Rage node, you have Black Bolt and Hulkbuster. No special nodes on those guys. Not hard champions to go through. That's as far as the Rage lane is concerned. As far as the power lane is concerned, you have Starlord and Vision with Cornered and Enhanced Fury, and Power Start with OG Vision and Limber. So basically what you need to do is you're gonna have to bait a lot of SB1s and SB2s with the Vision. Other than that, I don't see any other issues. I didn't have any issues with that. Starlord is you're gonna have to bait a little more specials with him as well, but other than that, not a problem. Easy lane to go through. As far as the second section, you do have a little harder lane to go through than the first two lanes. Hyperion would suggest to bring somebody that can manage his power, such as Magic. In my opinion, she was an awesome champion to use. Black Widow, she does evade 18% of the time. 18%, so do note that. Dormammu is always a pain in the ass to fight. Other than that, he has immunity to poison node. I have no clue why he has that, because he's double immune either way, so that's just a waste of a node. Great job, Kabam. Ghost Rider, easy to go through, not a problem. Nebula, same thing. Just gonna have to hit her a couple more times than the usual. Other than that, easy peasy on the both lanes. On the last lane, on the last section, you have Drax and Kingpin. Nothing special with both of them. I just went through them and they were both easy to go through. What do you have in power lane is Hawkeye with the power gain and Buffett. This champion and this fight was by far the hardest for me. It wasn't like crazy hard, but it was hard. It was the hardest fight in the entire chapter, in my opinion, since you have to bait a ton of specials. He has SB1, he has power gain for 100%, and every 7 seconds the next debuff trigger on the attacker is immediately removed. Each time the effect triggers, they regenerate for 10% of the health. So what actually happened to me is every single time that I had to bait a special and evade, since both of his specials are projectiles, at least once every 7 seconds, he gained like 10% health. So he would go from, let's say, 70% health. I would do the damage. He has the power gain, so he got to 60% health, and I had to bait his special, so he went back to 70%. It was like a ping pong, and it was so hard to get his health down. So what I would suggest is bring maybe a power control champion power control champion would give you the ability to not have to bait his special so much, or maybe bring a heal block champion like in my opinion just comes to mind Archangel would be perfect for this. Or just don't evade the specials. At the end of the fight, I just stopped evading specials and I just blocked them. His specials do not do a lot of damage, so you can just block and it's not going to be a big deal. Learn from my mistakes, guys. Either power control, either heal block, either just block the damage. Other than that, I didn't see any problems. In this map, when you go through third section, you have possible ambushes. You can get ambushed by either Ant-Man, Karnak, Cyclops, King Groot, or Storm. I got ambushed a few times, not a big deal. They have the regular nodes. All champions have a 300% attack and health, 50% attack and health, and the third special activated. I forgot to say it in the beginning of the game. As far as the big boss, we have Morningstar. Well, when Morningstar is blocked, she gains a soul charge, slight delay between oppressive curse activations. I didn't see this as a problem. Actually, it was not a problem for me, so just went through it. She has Shatter, nullify abilities, shatter their the targets, doing 1300 direct damage for each effect nullified in this way. Healing and regeneration abilities recover 150% more health. That means that if she doesn't have a healing built into her, but if your champion is healing, she will decrease your healing by 50% if I'm not mistaken, and she will heal by her on her own. So do not bring healing champions because you're just gonna heal her more than you're gonna heal yourself. She has heal block, special attacks inflict heal block, preventing the target from recovering health for 10 seconds. So basically don't get hit. 200% health, 300% health and attack, another 50% health and attack, and third special has been activated. Basically, it's not a hard Morningstar to go up against. If you're using Blade or any other champion that can bleed, remember that when you hit Morningstar, you get bleed on you. So would prefer to, I would suggest to get a bleed immune champion when fighting her, or if you're fighting her with a Blade, just build up your power meter to the second special. Do not use the second special, or do not use specials until you're at the end of the fight, and then you just can rip her off. But other than that, she was easy boss to fight. She was not too hard. Yes, I would suggest bringing bleed immune, but other than that, nothing special. For the whole chapter, as I said, me personally, I had the most problem with Hawkeye. Other than that, easy chapter to go through. In my opinion, Poison and Bleed lane is the easiest. Special notes? No, nothing special. As you guys can see, you have the champions in front of you. If you fight any of them, well, you basically should know if you get until till here to this section in the game, so you know how to fight all those champions. Just bring the champions that you want to fight with. Other than that, hope it helped you out, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below, and take care, and you'll see me in the next video.